Welcome, finalists, back to the vault. This is episode 19, and we have an interview with Etelco. Excited to get him back on because a lot has happened since the last time we got to chat with him. I am Walt, your host, as always, joined by Rio. How's it going, Rio?
Oh, it's going wonderful today. And today's episode is sponsored by Alpha Acta. Maximize risk,
Maximize.
minimize
Maximize
firepower.
firepower.
I did that
I
backwards.
fucked up.
No, you guys did it right. I actually did it backwards. So it's minimize risk, maximize firepower. But whatever, that's a great way to get started. As we said, today's guest is Etelco. But before we get into the interview, we have to talk about a couple events. And the first one that we're going to talk about is PHL Season 1. We did have our wrap up. We had the grand final. We had the championship days. It was wonderful. If you missed it, Waltz and I are going to dive into that in another episode. But just a quick overview. Team Ed took it away in a pretty convincing manner. So yeah, stay tuned for another episode where we really deep dive into that. But other than that, we this past weekend had the Luck Cup. And Waltz, you want to kind of dig into what that was?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Luck Cup was just a short one-day event where we had teams that had not participated in either of the previous Pro Hub Leagues events. Something we like to do from time to time to let the teams that aren't all the way at the very top to get to participate, show off their stuff. Team Quality Control 1. The most interesting part about this event was that we were running a ban system similar to the Korean style tournaments. So each team get to ban a single weapon and a single gadget. So they got to get rid of some things that they thought they would have to deal with. It made for some very interesting matchups. It led to some things that we don't normally see, and it was pretty cool. So if you want to check that out and see what that looked like, absolutely go ahead and check out the VOD that we're going to have below. But we do have a couple upcoming events, not least of which is going to be the qualifiers, the open and closed qualifiers for the Embark Major.
Yeah, I mean, we are basically there. It is just a few weeks away. I bet you by the time that this video is posted, it'll be maybe a week away from open quals. So we've looked at the roster. I believe it's full, which is wild. I looked at the teams and, looking through most of them, they even have like full rosters on the team. So
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be quite the mashup. I know that Waltz and I and the rest of our group are going to try and follow it. But how deep we get into it, I don't really know because they're not allowing casters for it. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes and then move on to closed quals.
Yeah, so closed qual is going to be coming up after the open quals, obviously. In between those, however, Ape Squad Worlds is going to be taking place after the open qualifiers, before the closed qualifiers. So we will be dropping all of the announcement videos and links to that. And we're going to be breaking that down because our friends at Ape Squad are fantastic. And then, of course, PHL Season 2 is on the horizon. Announcement for that is going to be coming out in the next couple weeks. So we will be covering all of that. But with all that out of the way, now we get to what we are really here for. Because Etelco, we are excited to get to chat with you once again. And thank you for coming back on. For those who aren't aware, for the precious few who aren't aware who you are and haven't watched the last episode, who are you in this scene?
At first, thanks for having me again, the second time for the vault. And so, for those who don't know me, my name is Etelco. I'm a French player for Pulsar Esports now. I've been playing the game since 2 years now, since closed beta. And competitively, I will say more than 1 year. And I played the esports scene a lot, since the beginning. I will say every single tournament. I played with a lot of players, with French players and EU players, and now, I'm just playing with Pulsar Esports with Pearson and Lask since I signed 3 months ago. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also doing some streams, some content creations. I have a French YouTube channel and an English YouTube channel. I'm doing a lot of things behind the scene, to help people, players, a lot of things, and I also organize some events to just grow the overall the final scenes. And that's all.
That's awesome. I think that's a very modest way of putting it to kind of help grow the scene. I think you're basically a cornerstone of this scene at this point. Yeah, like we said, a lot has really happened. And before we kind of dive into the actual, what happened with Pulsar and the Etelcup, let's just go over PHL Season 1 because that just wrapped up. And just a couple of questions on that. How do you think your team did overall? We know where you ended up placing, but how do you just kind of feel your performance was? Was there anything that went wrong? Anything that went right? Just kind of overall, what are you feeling?
To be honest, it was already like I will say fine because like we improved since season 0. Like I was still playing with person in season 0, but we were still searching for lights in season 1. Like we started with our main roster with Lask. And the main goal was to at least like maybe go top 2. Unfortunately, like we didn't make it to top 2. But it was still an improvement from our side because yeah, I feel like we finished like top 5, 6, something like that. And season 0, like we finished like top 8 or don't remember, but I feel like of course as a competitive player, like you always want like to be like top 3, top 2, like to win everything, you know, like everyone want to win everything, and that was the same case for us. But at the end of the day, like all the practice, all the communication, like I feel like we did good because we faced Team Secret uh, our last game, and in EU, that's I will say our main opponents. Like in EU, we are fighting every time. It's like Pulsar, Alliance, and Team Secret. Like that's the 3
Yep.
teams who are like always winning against each others and losing against each others most of the time. So it's a very hard work to. It's weird because like it's 50-50 most of the time, but every time like we are losing in such bad way, like it's so close, like a little error can cost you like the whole game. And I'm still proud of my boss. Like I said to them, like we saw a lot of good things, of insane plays, of insane clutches. I was still proud, and it was, as I said, it was like a huge training for us for the open qualifiers for the major, and it was just like like the first step for the serious business
Yeah.
with the major. So I was still proud, yeah, to be honest.
And justifiably so. You guys did really well. Lasky was definitely a really exciting addition to the roster. It feels like he
Mm.
slotted in very, very well. So it's been very fun to watch you guys play together and see how well you do. And it's neat to see that there is that rivalry that you've seen, I think, has grown a lot this year in terms of
Yeah.
the teams that are really at the top. And so kind of alluding to that growth and how well teams are doing, how are you preparing as a team for the qualifiers? Because this really is the moment now that we're here at the major where you have to show up and you have to actually get to Sweden. So what are you guys doing to prepare for that?
Uh, of course, we are training a lot. Like there is a lot of things beyond the scene like happening, but we have, I will say, like very important like schedule planning to respect. Like we planned like a lot of streams, like at least like maybe like close to 3 hours streams a day. We have a lot of review, like VOD sessions. Like we are watching like other teams, we are watching other players, not only us. We are scouting a lot, like what they are doing, what are the strategies, my bad, and like everything around. So we are talking a lot. We are trying to find like as well a coach, but we were like in I will say like tryout situation with some coaches, but unfortunately we didn't manage to find the right one yet. And we were like, okay, like it's still okay because like we didn't find a coach. Maybe it will be good for us to improve again a lot and put some insights, like some things we didn't know, and it can like help us to see other things with an external view. And we talked about that with each other, and we were like, we are still doing good without a coach. We are improving a lot. Like I will say right now, in the finals, the only guys who can coach are mainly commentators and like top players already, because like commentators, like they watch every games, like a lot of games, a lot of high level games, like they have a lot of vision on everything, a big awareness and game sense, I would say, like for every teams. And yeah, obviously like high level players who already like proved themselves in high level games.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it was a bit like weird for us to not have a coach right now, since a lot of other teams were like, okay, we have a coach now, but we are doing without still right now. So we are still like preparing ourselves with like a lot of scrims, ranked. VOD review, and I will say like that's all. But I remember I spoke about it like my first podcast. I was saying, do not forget to like having a good lifestyle as well.
Mhm.
Like it's okay to play good, like to do a lot of work in game, but the most important thing as well, like, is to be good as a human being. You know, like a good lifestyle, a good mental health, a good physical health, everything, like sleep well, eat well, drink a lot of water. I will say, you know, like the basic things. And for us, like gamers, you know, like it's very important to remind that to players and teams, you know, every time. So I would say like I will put that into our training. I mean, that's what I'm saying to my teammates a lot as well. So yeah, the basic stuff, I will say, a lot of hard work.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of drinking water. Anytime I feel off, I'd like drink a glass of water and normally feel better. So I don't know, life hack for everybody out there. But let's change our focus a little bit to Pulsar. I remember when the announcement came out, I was super excited for you guys. I think that it was a genuine, like, momentous time in the scene because, to my knowledge, nobody else had been signed. So you were basically the first team and player to basically be signed. How did this happen?
Yeah.
How did you first connect with Pulsar? Did they reach out to you? Did you, have some kind of connection with them? Just what happened?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, as you said, like we were the first players to sign a contract with an
Hmm.
organization, with a company, and it was like very insane. Like it was like a dream to sign, like to being like one of the first players like to sign with a company. But oh, it was like working. Like previously, I was with Aimerz. Like
Hmm.
back then, it was like Aimerz Blue and Aimerz Red, and I was playing for Aimerz as Aimerz Red. And it was like I feel like I was like the only player very active on Twitter, on X,
Mm.
and all the social media, like to act like a pro player. You know, it was like in my mindset, it was like fake it until you make it. You know, like something like that. And I was already like acting like a pro player, like on X and Twitter. I was sharing like my results, my tournaments, my highlights, videos, clips. And the Aimerz were already scouting some players to create a team and join the finals because, like, for some reason, like their staff were playing the game, they were enjoying the game, so they were like, okay, we are not good enough to make a team, but we can still manage to create a team and scout some players on social media. And they found me because of that, because I was very active, present. And they reached out to me like first, and I was like, okay, blah blah blah. We can try to find the other teammates and create a team. So that's how it started, at least with Aimerz. And with Aimerz, they are sponsored by Pulsar. Like this is a very known AIM community club, I would say, around the world, and they are from South Korea.
Hmm.
And Pulsar was the official sponsor of Aimerz. They were doing some collaboration for some gears, some stuff, other type of commercial collaboration. And when the major got announced, like a lot of things and tournaments were announced as well on the esports scene, Aimerz were like, okay, Pulsar had a plan to create an esport organization. So maybe the first step, like, could be to move out with the finals roster to Pulsar esports. So it was like not Pulsar anymore, but Pulsar esports. And
Okay.
they talked about that between each other, and they were like, okay, so let's move our two Aimerz rosters to Pulsar esports to start the journey. But a problem was here. Like when we talked about that with Unbark, Unbark was like, okay, so you guys have two teams, but you guys can only like decide to sign one team. So it was like a big problem because the other team was my brother's team. So you know, like
Yeah.
it was like, okay, so we know the first team to sign will be like the first team overall in the game to sign with such a big company like Pulsar. So it was like insane, you know. So it was a bit weird and but an awkward situation because we don't know who they will sign, you know.
Oh.
And at the end of the day, with a lot of discussion, they decided to sign my team since like Anbark refused, like for good reason, I would say. Like it was normal, a good reason to have two teams. But after that, like Aimerz and Pulsar managed to help a lot Elix teams to sign after with now, you know, like Team Secrets. It was a work between us and Pulsar to sign Elix team to Team Secrets because Pulsar is also a sponsor of Team Secret. And that's why. So it's very important to have this kind of collaboration. And I feel like, yeah, it's a good contact with everyone. So it's a lot of chance, I would say, as well, also.
It's nice that it worked out like that for you, but it also sounds like there was definitely like you know, there's never like it's never a sure thing, and so it's neat that it ended up working out, and you are now in what seems like a very positive, you know, positive relationship with Pulsar, and it's nice that you know, Alex and the rest of Team Secret were able to find their own home as well, not being able to move over from you know, both teams from Aimerz, and it was neat to see you guys get signed. And so, as the first team publicly signed, you know, to as you guys were moving in Aimerz, but then also to Pulsar, did you feel like there was any pressure on you knowing that you were the the first major team?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it was like, okay, guys, we are the first team to sign. We are playing for a company that's an organization, esport club, but it's also a company behind. So we were like, okay, we don't need to fuck up. Like it's impossible to lose, you know, right now. Like we can't lose you. Like everyone around will be like, oh, sure, look at them, they're pro players, blah blah blah. They can't lose. They're losing against non-pro player, but like everyone is so good, you know, like they're just not signed yet, you know. So yeah, like a lot of pressure, and I feel like it was good anyway because like the I will say like the view of other players and people around us like were changing a bit. Okay, now it's serious business. We are not talking anymore to normal players. We are talking to signed players. Maybe it will be us soon, you know, like so. I will say a lot of people were like having a lot of question, a lot of things to ask us, like, okay, you are the first team. Do you think it will be the same for us? Blah blah blah. How it will go for the rest of the scene? And yeah, like of course, like a lot of pressure for us, but we managed to hold the pressure well, I will say. Anyway, it was like very exciting for us.
That's awesome. Yeah, very monumentous time, and I bet it was a lot of pressure. How did your kind of not your co players within your team, but like how did your other like players react to it? Was it positive? Were they kind of on your side? Were they a little envious? Were they more like targeting you in games? Did you notice any change, or was it just kind of like, oh, good job?
It was 50-50, like I will say. Like, some, you know, like every time, like there is already like some things happening behind the scene between players, you know, like in the scene. So some players were, I will not say jealous, but they were like, "Mm, are you sure it's a good thing for you? Like we are not sure it's good. Like okay, like they just signed with Pulsar, but what Pulsar will gain from that? Like there is no way they signed this team, you know." Why it's like a lot of things like I saw a lot of messages like that from some EU players like at the end of the day like of course like the friends and close player to us like were happy for us, of course. A lot of support from a lot of people at Embark, like they were so happy. Other players, most of them like were so happy. We received a lot of support. It was like crazy, but it was we were still like the first team to sign. So as I said, a lot of questions. Like they were like, "Are we sure it's a good timing to sign some players? Are we sure it's a good opportunity for players as well?" They were like, "Are you guys getting paid? What is the contract?" Like they wanted to know everything. Like it's normal, but yeah, I would say it's 50-50. Maybe it's like it's normal with other esports scene, but no, yeah,
Yeah.
it's some good people, some bad people, like everywhere.
So as we move kind of into the next step, because you are with Pulsar, and so along with that does come a certain amount of responsibility to the org. You need to put up certain results and put in that time. But you also had another really big project this year that you decided to put on,
Mm.
the Etelcup, the first land there in Europe, a very phenomenal and massive achievement that you were able to put on. What gave you the first idea? Because I remember you were organizing events even as far back as January of this year. You had the Etelcup way back. Why did you
Mhm.
decide to do a LAN, and how did that even come to you?
That's a good question. Like at first, as you said, like Etelcup 1 was an online event. Like it was like easy, like everyone can do that, I will say. Organize some event online, but I was like, fuck, like it's been like more than 1 year. The esports scene is growing, and we still didn't saw anything happening in EU or even in NA. Only like from some Asia tournaments, like we saw like the Korean National League. They have the Nexon Arena. We saw
Hmm.
a LAN event in Japan as well.
Yep.
But in EU, like nothing else. Like we were like, no, everyone was just waiting like for breakout and probes to do something like back then, and for the major to happen. And besides that, like no one was excited to do anything else. Like for most of the like pro players, I will say, or competitive players. And so I was like, okay, I did the tournaments. I know how to organize events. I want to do things for the esports scene. I don't only want to be a player. I also want people around me like to have fun, to dream about tournament and competition. What if I can do a LAN event by myself? The first one, like it was my first LAN ever as well as an organizer. And how it was happening, like how it happened, I have this guy from Alsace Esport Arena who contacts me at the same moment. At the same moment, I was like already like thinking about doing that,
Oh
and they
wow.
were like, "Okay, bro, we know like you are playing the finals, and we wanted to organize a LAN event. So are you guys with your team like can be interested for that? Do we have some like information? Can you help us to reach more teams and players?" And I was like, "You guys want to create a LAN event?" And I was so down to create mine as well. And they wanted help from me. So I was like, "Okay, here's the deal. What if you help me organize this LAN, but it's not your LAN, it's Etelcup. Like it's I will brand this event as my event." And like they were down, like they were like, "Okay, it seems
That's
like a good
awesome.
plan. Let's try." And thanks a lot like to Alsace Sport Arena again. Like thanks to them, it was like a crazy, and we were able to organize a very good thing. But yeah, like again, it was like my main goal was just to like having some add some life to the esports scene, to the competitive scene, and for people like to not just get bored while waiting for other tournament, like just like to keep I would say to keep the scene working, to keep everyone like active, I will say, to attract more people, to yeah, that's all, to grow the esport community, I will say, overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I will say my main goal.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful goal to have. And so we mentioned Pulsar before. Did they kind of come into play in this? Did they support you? I remember seeing their logo on there, but did they kind of come in and help out in any way?
Hmm? Yeah, yeah. At first, that was a big question, but do I play my own event or what with Pulsar? And because like I talked to Pulsar, was like, "Okay, I'm a player, guys, but here are my events. I will do that. What do you think?" And Pulsar were like, "Oh, it's fucking crazy. Like it's insane. We can maybe like do something with you, like to support you. We love that."
Mm.
And they were like, "Can you play?" And I was like, it's my event, you know, like it's my event, so it will be weird, like if I play and maybe win my own event, you know, like I will, how to say, I will lift my own trophy, you know, I will take my own trophy, my own money, I will say, from the cash prize, and so it will be weird, you know, like everyone will be like, what is doing, you know. So I was like, no, 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 I can't play, it's impossible. But if you guys want to do something, like come to the LAN events and try to bring my two teammates, Lask and Person, and maybe like talk about Pulsar gear stuff, like act like a real sponsor, you know, like talk about like product, mouse, keyboard, talk about the esport team, your goals, and so yeah, like they were like very happy to join with Person and Lask. Obviously, like we managed to find a sub for the team.
Yeah.
Thanks again, like to Nico who played for them as well with them. And yeah, like I can't talk about that, but they showed like some projects, you know, like some cool things. We rewarded like players on stage with some cool Pulsar gear, Pulsar
Nice.
stuff. And the manager, his name is Simon. He was here with us. He's from Sweden as well. And I was like interviewing him like on stream. Like we were able to talk about the project Pulsar Esports, the finals esport as well. You know. So yeah, they invest for my two teammates and to showcase like Pulsar and Pulsar stuff. It was very cool.
That's awesome. It definitely seems like everything ended up working out, but what was the hardest part of making this actually happen? Because it seems like the arena kind of fell into place for you guys, and you had the backing. What was the biggest roadblock you had to overcome?
I will say the lack of people for the organization, like for the staff side, um, because like we had a lot of problems like for the stream. I will say like the broadcast was like kinda okay. That's all.
Yeah.
The LAN event like itself, like the physical event was like crazy. It was my main focus. Like I wanted like visitors, players, like everyone at place like to be like it was an insane event. But for the broadcast and stream side, it was a bit 50-50, you know. I wanted to do like way better. I will say like the main problem was I was on the cast. That was the main problem because the main goal was to have Tixi at first. Like I announced Tixi first to comment the events, but we faced a lot of problems because like a few weeks before the LAN event, we had only like 3 teams complete. We were able to play for the LAN events. And for us, like it was impossible to play with only 3 teams for
Yeah.
a LAN events. So with my sponsor, we decided to lower the prices to sign up for the event. And it results we were not able anymore to bring Tixi to the place or another commentators from anywhere. English speaking one. So we were a bit fucked because like I wanted this event to be only English speaking, you know, to attract like everyone. Like my main goal as well is to attract like more English speaking people around the world. I love my French community, but I need to do both, you know, at the same time. I can't like focus only on French, and so that's why I'm doing both. And yeah, I would say it was the main problem because I was like kind of doing like a lot of things at the same time, but like thanks God, like I got a lot of help from a lot of people during the events, like some admins who followed me from my club, like some other people like from the Broxton team, Crash. You know this guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Some like him itself was helping me with some of his friends. So like thanks again, like for all of them, because like without these people, like it was a disaster, I will say, for the broadcast. And no, yeah, I will say it was the lack of people, of gear, like the microphones, the cameras.
Mhm.
It was my first event, so I was like, okay, like maybe one microphone and one camera will be enough, but it was not enough at all. So yeah, like I will say for the next event, if there is a next event,
Yeah.
I will like focus more on having more people and be sure to have a real commentator at place, and a lot of microphones and camera, like a lot of stuff, that
Mm.
I will improve that for sure.
Nice. Well, I mean, for your first event, it sounds like it went pretty well, and just the
Mm,
actual like event itself. Broadcast is a whole nother beast. And I think that you
yeah.
definitely were doing a lot. I know that when I was watching it, I was just kind of like, oh, Etelco's commentating and at his event. And I know that you probably showed up way beforehand and helped set everything up. And yeah, I know it's a big undertaking.
Mm.
Um, what do you think the hardest part was? We touched a little bit on like convincing teams to show up, but was there anything just in like the logistics and planning side that was difficult, or really was it just the teams?
I will say it was more about the teams, because like I had the
Mhm.
chance to have already all the gaming PC at place. Like
Okay.
in the place, like everything was already like like fine and already here. Nobody like the teams and players, like they were just needed to travel to the place with like a
Mhm.
mouse, headset, and keyboard. That's all. All the gaming PCs were already here, so it was like a big advantage for them. But yeah, we'll say the hardest work was like just to convince and find teams, players, and sponsors at the same time,
Mhm.
just to run the events, because like it's a EU event, but it was like 2,000 euros to win.
Mhm.
If you add all the money you need to spend to travel, to book an hotel, like everything, like if
Yeah.
you are not if you are not a top three, you are losing like a lot of money, I will say. So it was like difficult to find a lot of players and team
Yeah.
to run the events. Some
Yeah.
sponsors as well. Like thanks again
Mhm.
to Broxton Crash,
Oh, yeah.
who like helped me a lot to run this event. Like without him, like I was not able to run the event. But yeah, I will say like it was like very hard to create teams, because at the same time, like a lot of solo players like wanted to play. So I help a lot of players and team like to create a team. To okay, I will help you guys. I will create a Discord. I will create some channels so you guys can search for solo players. You guys can organize yourself. I was like sharing all the hotels around the place. I was doing my best, to I will say improve the organization for players and teams. So I will say it was the hardest thing to work on, and of course like anticipate if teams like will cancel their
Yeah.
participation, all this kind of stuff.
So after all of that hard work, and it eventually came together, and obviously it happened because we got to see it and got to see the really impressive, the result. What did it feel like to actually get to see the first match happen and to know that your LAN event was actually going on?
It was insane. Like it was insane. Like, I will lie if I say I was like emotionless. I will lie if I say that. I had a lot of emotions, to be honest. Like watching like everyone like playing, like screaming, like being so happy to play. A lot of them like were, like standing and cheering for their teammate on stage.
That's
Like they
awesome.
were. Some of them were also like how do you say that? Like taunting on stage
Yeah,
Yeah.
between
yeah,
Yeah.
each other. Like they were like sending some weird words. Like it was like just fun. It was like super fun, and as well like the visitors like were cheering for players, teams. Like it was so fucking cool. Like the place itself. Like I'm very sad. We didn't manage to share like all these type of emotions during the stream from visitors and players, because all the sound when I was like in the when I was like in the commentary, you guys were not able to hear like players and people like screaming and clapping for everyone, but me, I was able to, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And at some point, I don't remember when, but I remember like a game just finished, and I left the room when I was that was the broadcast room, and I was watching like everyone playing, talking to each other. Like I was just alone in the backstage watching everything from a third eye. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, everyone is here, like because of the event. Like all these people,
Yeah.
of these players, and everyone was having fun, like a lot of noise. Like I was like, damn, that's so fucking cool. Like I was so proud, and excited, and I was like close to cry at some point, because like at some point, like some of players who got eliminated, like were crying when they got eliminated.
Oh wow.
Like they were crying. It's like a lot of emotions, and I was like, oh my fucking god, no, stop crying, please. Like I was so sad for them. Like I was fuck. Like I wanted you guys like to play, but unfortunately, like it's a competition, it's a tournament, so of course, like there will be winners and losers, but like everyone, like even like the people who got like knocked out first and second team, like they were like so proud of themselves. Like they were fuck. Okay, we lost, we cry, but we are so glad we were able to play this LAN event. Like we were so excited. Like like we are just so proud. And yeah, like seeing like everyone, like being here, playing and cheering, like for this event, I was very proud, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most about the major. Just having that energy, just the crowd just like actually feeling and reacting to everything that's happening, both positive, negative. I mean, people crying,
Mm.
like you can't ask for more. That's quite
Yeah.
impressive. And so I guess looking back, is there anything that you would do differently for the next time that you did this?
I will say, yeah, I will say my main focus will be on
Mm.
the broadcast work, having better production, having like more people to help me. It's kinda my fault as well, because like I love to manage everything. Sometimes when you have like some big projects like that, I'm this kind of guy who love like to work on everything at the same time. It's very hard for me to let other people work at my place, on other stuff. But I know like they're better than me to do that. Like they need to do that. But I'm like, fuck, I want this to be perfect. So I need to help to do something. So I will say having more people around me to help me to produce and manage the events, and like broadcast as well, like invest in more stuff like microphone, cameras. For my I will say for my next event, because I know I already want to do a next one. I can say it right now.
Nice.
I want to do a next one. I don't
Yes.
know when, where, but I want to have another LAN event, a bigger one.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
for this one, I will like definitely like have like like cameras for players. Each player, with his own camera, like microphones. Like you can hear the voice comms, like a lot of stuff like that. Like more like ambient microphones and camera as well, like for the spectators, so you can hear the crowd and spectators. Like all this kind of stuff to just share the emotion
Yeah.
through the broadcast. So yeah, having just a more professional stream, I would say.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly the next question we were going to ask is, is there a future event? So I'm very excited for Etelcup 2. I know that
Mm.
we're probably going to we'll probably look at that next year. The
Mhm.
considering you between your YouTube channels and also the upcoming major, it's a little busy. You got some other things you're focusing on right now.
I have a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do, and so hopefully all of that goes well. But we asked a similar question last time we interviewed you as well, because things were in a very different place back in February, before we got this
Mm.
close to the major and we actually knew what things were going to look like before you'd done your LAN and all of a sudden all these teams were getting signed. So as you look forward to next year, what are your hopes for this coming year? Because obviously we want the major to go really well, but what do you hope for and also think we're going to see with the finals competitive scene in 2026? What do you think that's going to look like?
To be honest, I'm a big dreamer, so I have a lot of expectation. I'm just excited to see how the major will go. At
Hmm.
least I want to see like how it will go, what we will have, etc. But I won't embark, after the major, like to announce like something huge. Okay, that was a major, but it was like only the beginning of what we are capable of. And I definitely want to see like Face It Pro League. It's like my fucking dream. A Face It Pro League on the
Mm,
finals. Like, dude, like I will grind the game like 24 hours a day. Like, that's
be
impossible.
amazing.
Like, yeah, like some kind of a real pro league. I would say, like, not to say like pro ups is not
No, that's
professional.
yeah,
Like, pro ups is crazy, but like it's more community
it's
thing
yeah, community
still.
Absolutely.
smaller.
Yeah, but it's still a huge thing for us. Like it's insane. Prob, probs,
Mhm.
but a real professional pro league scene. Like mm, it will be like something like crazy, like for organizations, players, and like League of Legends. Like you will have a regional league, and
Mhm.
you will have some playoffs, and that will result as a major at the end of the day. Like like the best
So
teams
cool.
got qualified with a pro league, and they will go to the major. Something like that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just want like more competition, more
Mhm.
tournaments, a lot of other organization to host events. Like we saw, I didn't think if you saw that, guys, but on Breakout might
Mhm.
come back soon.
Yeah,
So
saw that.
it's a very good news. So like of this type of all this type of stuff, I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're really there. And like the amount of like, scenes that are trying to do a tournament, people that have even reached out to me just like, hey, what do you guys do? And it's quite impressive to me. I was talking to Waltz, it's about to get busy. So with all that in mind, what advice would you give to somebody that's wanting to jump into the scene? Maybe for the first time, maybe they're a competitive player, but yeah, they just kind of want to get in there. What is your advice at this point?
Mm, I will say at first, watch the finals esport. Like
Mhm.
that's the first step. Like watch the finals esport. Like watch players, watch tournament, watch pro ups. Like just inform you and play the game and try to make some contact and relation to find a team, create a team. Like learn. Just keep learning, keep
Mhm.
training, most important thing, and you will like learn a lot while watching some videos, streams, and tournaments, competition. So like I will say, like you just have to be curious and
Mhm.
dedicated if you want to enter the esports scene of the finals. Like just to do whatever you have to do, prove yourself, like show to everyone you are the best. And but do it like seriously, because now we are not talking about like some little competition. Like we are talking about a major with like a lot of money, serious organizations, professional teams, players. Like it's a serious business, I will say now, more than ever. We will see in 2026 if we have something like bigger. But yeah, like do it seriously, like act like a pro player and fake it until you make it.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, things are they're more serious overall. Like it's
Mm.
time to actually really kind of, if you want to get involved, you actually have to make a serious effort. You can't just think about it. So hopefully, if people do take that advice, they'll be able to, take a look at that and maybe even check out some of your videos that you've been making and maybe use that as a jumping off point. And so speaking of that, where can people find you? Obviously, you got a couple YouTube channels. Just go ahead and give your links and also shout outs for people you think deserve the attention.
Yeah, I will, like, people can just find me on YouTube, like, for my English speaking channel, just Etelco TF. Same on Twitch. Twitch is it's just Etelco. I'm also like active on Instagram and X as a competitive player, so they can follow me everywhere for that. And yeah, I would love to thanks like my community to support me, like the French people, all the French viewers, players, like the French community. They are insane. There is a lot of people around, so big up, thanks to you guys, as well the English speaking people, because now I will say, I want to reach out like more English speaking people around the world. If you are from NA, I still love you guys. It's okay. I'm a EU player, but I love everyone. So I'm not in war against NA, only in game for tournaments. So yeah, I would love to thanks as well like Broxton Crash from Via, him and his team for all the help. I made a good friend, I would say, with him, and it's such a good guy, and his friends as well. Like I met incredible people, all my staff, people around me who help me to create projects, and of course like Pulsar, the Pulsar team, the Pulsar staff who help us a lot. Like they are doing an insane job to try to showcase us, like to just yeah, like to help us and support us as they can. And everyone around the competitive scene, like you guys, what you are doing is crazy. I love that. The first podcast on the finals. I can think about other guy, but you are my favorite, I will say.
Aw.
And ProHubs, like everyone around, like Burita, the admins of ProHubs, everyone around the community who deserve a lot of attention. So yeah, that's all for me. Like thanks to everyone for that.
Amazing. Well, we'll definitely be leaving all the links to those. And again, they're just the community is truly something special, and I'm excited to see it grow in the coming year. But that's going to be it for our review. Again, Etelco, thank you so much for coming on. It is always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks to you guys.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and call it here. So if you enjoyed that, make sure do go ahead and subscribe, because there's going to be more episodes just like this with interviews and breakdowns of events coming up. So make sure to stick around and keep an eye out for those when we do release them. That's our interview for today. So we are going to be heading out. But until then, we will see you next time on The Vault.